All right, today we are going to continue learning a little bit more about finding the volume of rectangular prisms and explore our essential question of how can you use a formula to find the volume of a rectangular prism. This is lesson 9 out of chapter 11. The big difference between today's lesson and yesterday's lesson is that they have omitted the picture of the little cubes inside of the model that they present for each of the problems. And instead, now we just see that they give us the side lengths for our rectangular prism, and we have to use our formula to find the volume. Our formula, remember, is right here. It's length times width times height is going to equal our volume. And we have talked about how length times width is also referred to as the base area of your rectangular prism. And we can focus on finding that first and then multiply the base area times the height to find the overall volume. Really, with today's lessons, when we're working with just rectangular prisms, we don't have to worry too much about this idea. We'll have a later lesson where it will be really valuable. But today, I think we can just focus on length times width times height. So let's look at this first problem. We have a length of 7, 5, and 3. And remember, just like we said in yesterday's lesson, right, we want to make sure that we're getting all 3 of these dimensions, right? So we get our dimension going across the front here, going front to back, and then we also have our dimension of height. So we just need to make sure that we get all 3 of those into our formula. Now, when we look at these, we just want to pick the one that seems to be the easiest and most logical progression of multiplication. For me, I would rather do this multiplication problem first and then multiply by 3 because 7 times 5 is 35. And then, set 35 times 3 is still a relatively easy problem because we have this single digit problem, our number that we're multiplying by, and it's a pretty small number. So 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, and our overall volume for this rectangular prism is 105. We are working with inches, so 105 cubic inches. All right, here is another one, right? Again, we have our formula for volume right here at the front, at the top. We just need to make sure we get all 3 dimensions. So we get from side to side, and that is 7. Front to back is 4. Top to bottom is 5, right? So our length, width, and height, 7, 4, and 5. Now, just like I said in the last one, I want to make sure that I group together the 2 that seem to make the most sense or be, is going to be the easiest for me to work with. And I know that 4 times 5 gives me a product with the 0 in the ones place. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to say 4 times 5 is 20. And then I'm left with 20 times 7. Well, anything times 0 is 0. So I just have to do 7 times 2, which is 14. And then they've already written our units in here. We're working with feet, so they are cubic feet. 140 cubic feet is the volume of this rectangular prism. How about you try this one really quick, pause the video, and then come back and we will see how you did. So here I have my volume is length times width times height. I have 2 times 4 times 5. See, 4 times 5 again is 20, and 2 times 20 gives me a volume of 40 cubic feet. Let's give another one a try here. Alrighty. So again, our formula for volume, length, width times height. So we have 4 times 4 times 9. And I I don't know, I guess here it probably doesn't really matter, but I'm going to go ahead and just do 4 times 4 first, which is 16 times 9. And I'm going to write that one over here just to make it a little bit easier for me to see. 9 times 6 is 54. Oh, that's not where the... So 54. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 5 is 14. So the volume of this rectangular prism is 144 cubic centimeters. All right, we have one more type of problem in this lesson, and this one's a little tricky, but it really isn't too bad. Here, they want us to find the unknown measurement. So in order for us to be able to find the unknown measurement, we have to know an additional variable. And what we know here is we know that the volume of this rectangular prism is 60 cubic centimeters. I know that the one measurement here, the length is 5, the width is 4, and I don't know my height. So I'm going to put an H for height. Well, 5 times 4 is 20. I still don't know my height, right? But this kind of helps us with that whole idea of we are figuring out the area of our base times our height is going to tell us our overall volume. So I just have to think to myself, well, 20 times what equals 60? Hopefully we remember that because these are multiplication facts that we can turn this around and we can say, well, 20 times h equals 60. And if that's the case, right, h times 20 equals 60, but I could also say that 60 divided by 20 will equal h. And 20 or 60 divided by 20, ignore those zeros, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So the height of this rectangular prism is 3. And if I want to check that, I can come back up here and I can substitute 3 for h. And 5 times 4 is 20, and 20 times 3 does in fact equal 60. So the unknown measurement is 3 centimeters. Let's look at one final one. Yeah, and then you can probably give them a go on your own. Here, this is a story problem, so we don't get a picture. We just have to work with what we have. It says the Jade restaurant has a large aquarium on display in its lobby. The base of the aquarium is 5 feet by 2 feet. The height of the aquarium is 4 feet. How many cubic feet of water are needed to completely fill the aquarium? So I'm going to look at my final question, right? How many cubic feet of water are needed to completely fill the aquarium? Cubic feet gives me a hint here that I need to know the volume of this aquarium. So again, volume is length times width times height. I'm going to draw a quick picture just to kind of like make sure that I have all of the information I need out of my story problem. So the aquarium is 5 feet by 2 feet, and then it is 4 feet tall. So with that being said, here we are. We have 5 times 2 times 4. I'm going to just go ahead and do this. 5 times 4, or I'm sorry, 2 times 4 is 8, and 5 times 8 is 40. Our measurements were in feet, so it's 40 cubic feet. All right, that is the lesson for today. Here is your formula that's going to help you to solve these problems. Give them a try and good luck.